Today's expected to be a very big day in that trial. Prosecutors are planning to rest their case today against defendant Travis Reinking. He stands trial accused of killing 4 people and hurting 4 others. The 33-year-old now faces 16 counts, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, and weapons charges. Prosecutors say he unleashed at least 30 rounds of ammunition at a Waffle House in April of 2018. Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter joins us live now from outside the courthouse in Nashville, Tennessee, outside the courtroom, I should say. So Chanley, obviously a very big day with the state expected to rest.
That's right. Good morning, Joy. I am in the hallway. Just down the hall is the courtroom where the Travis Reinking trial is taking place. What we expect first thing this morning is for the attorneys to be inside the courtroom with the judge. In fact, I just left the courtroom. Attorneys are gathering inside for a charge conference. They're going to hammer out a very complicated set of jury instructions that will be read to this jury. Again, the jury tasked with determining whether or not Travis Reinking should be guilty or not guilty. That's not guilty by reason of insanity here. So after the prosecution does rest this morning when calling one more witness, which we're being told it's more of an evidentiary type law enforcement witness, then we expect the defense to put on a case. They have to present proof of his mental illness, that he wasn't aware what he was doing was right or wrong. Of course, that means, Joy, that the prosecution would give a rebuttal case to the defense's proffer of proof. So we should expect a rebuttal case, a couple of experts from the state. This may come down to a battle of the experts, Joy.
Very interesting. Thank you so much, Chanley. You know, yesterday I know you got a chance to speak with one of the survivors, one of the final survivors to testify, Kayla Shaw. Really compelling what we heard from her on the stand. What else can you tell us?
Yeah, it was. It's been really heart-wrenching to be here in person to talk with all of those who have been affected, not just the survivors who were at the Waffle House, but the family members of those who passed away during that incident. They fill one half of the gallery inside the courtroom every day of this trial. Emotions at an all-time high inside this courtroom, Joy. And so I was able to pull Kayla Shaw aside after she testified yesterday, and she talked to me very determined. Let's take a listen.
After going through what I've went through, it's just, like I said, it's a very traumatic experience and a high emotion with it being such a high-profile case and with it being so far from the time of the occurrence, with it being 4 years later, that rises even more emotions. So I am ready to get this case settled and get justice for the victims and myself and the deceased.
You know, I also asked her, because she was there in person, Joy, what was it about Travis Reinking's demeanor that morning at the Waffle House that really, to her, makes her believe that he knew what he was doing was wrong? And she told me, Joy, that it was, he pulled up to the Waffle House, his truck was right out front, right out the window, and he sat in that trunk for minutes. And she said that to her tells her all she needs to know, that he thought about this, he premeditated it, he had planned it, and knew what he was doing that morning.
Wow. And obviously what you just shared, Chanley, goes against what the defense is expected to claim, right? That he didn't know what he was doing was wrong. What else can you tell us about this insanity defense?
It's a very complicated defense, especially in the state of Tennessee and many other states who have not guilty by reason of insanity defenses. The defense must put on a case by clear and convincing evidence. We pulled some of the statute of the code here in the state of Tennessee, essentially what it says under the law, which I'm sure what the jury will be instructed to. It says, at the time of the commission of the acts constituting the offense, the defendant, as a result of a severe mental disease or defect, was unable to appreciate the nature or wrongfulness of the defendant's actions. It goes on to say the defendant has the burden of proving the defense of insanity by clear and convincing evidence. We know that's not the highest standard under the law, Joy, of beyond a reasonable doubt, but it's still one of the higher standards under the law. So we expect the defense today to call one, maybe 2 experts to the stand. I did actually speak to our own expert, a forensic psychologist, because he says it gets even more complicated than what I just read to you, that the wrongfulness part of the analysis is in and of itself another analysis. Let's take a listen.
person's mental disease or defect has to be of such a severity that the person either does not appreciate the nature of their act, or that they don't appreciate the wrongfulness of their act. So it's two separate prongs that an evaluator is going to have to evaluate. But one of the key aspects is this idea of wrongfulness. Now, Tennessee just uses wrongfulness as its own word, meaning that both kinds of wrongfulness, moral or legal, are components of wrongfulness under Tennessee statutes. So if someone can think of something and commit a behavior that they know is legally wrong, however, as a result of their disease or mental disease or defect, is not morally wrong, then essentially that person still has the ability to use the insanity defense.
Now, Joy, it is important to keep in mind for our viewers that if that is an unsuccessful defense and Travis Reinking is convicted, there is a sentencing phase that would take place immediately after a guilty verdict in this trial, and the jury, the same jury sitting in there for the guilt phase, would determine whether or not he would spend the rest of his life behind bars or be granted parole.
Thank you so much, Shanley Painter, reporting live in Nashville, Tennessee.